Hello and welcome to episode 50 of Sokkacraft. In the last episode, we completed the Sun Warrior Temple Village, and in this episode, we're going to do a world tour. But before we get started with the world tour, there's a few things I need to talk about. First, we've reached 50 episodes of the Let's Play series. I can't believe that I've already reached 50 episodes. And second thing I want to talk about is this world is now a year old. So 50 episodes in a year. I think there's like 52 weeks in a year. So I think I did pretty good last year. I hope that I'll do just as much, and maybe by the end of 2022, we will have 100 episodes on this channel. And the last thing that I need to mention is, once again, thank you guys for helping us reach 1,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for subscribing, liking, commenting, and all that good stuff. Now, let's get started with the world tour, starting here at my world spawn. Alright, let's do this world tour with some shaders on. So today we're going to be touring my world with BSL shaders on, and let's get started. Here at spawn, there's not actually too much to talk about. I kind of chose it to be the place where I could do everything really ugly, and it's actually kind of my chest monster right now as well. I just finished up a build, so usually I try to collect all my shulker boxes in the world, try to get them all organized, figure out what goes where, and group similar things together. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on here. But basically we started here, and I only stayed here till we beat the dragon. No. I only stayed here for my first night of Minecraft, I think. Or my first few nights. We spawned, we made this house because you always want to kind of have a house near your spawn. So if you do die in a survival world, you have somewhere you can run into that has a bed. And don't ask why the door is like this. I just have it like this because the zombies kept on breaking the doors, okay? I figured out the trapdoors, they can't break, and I can get through that pretty easily. So like with any starting area, there is a mine that goes down where I got my first diamonds and got things sorted. And then I ran off, I believe, in that direction to where I actually got ready to fight the dragon and did all my villager trading. And basically, this is kind of just now my industrial area. I only come back here to do farming. So we set up all my iron farms here, and they all run into this. Actually, I haven't checked this in a while. Alright, it's pretty full, and we've got a lot of excess iron here and bone meal on the side. And I just set up 3 separate iron farms, all exactly the same, and they all just run to the same spot. Oh, there's one guy now. Poor guy. And yeah, it's pretty simple. It's basically a Doc M77 design farm with a few tweaks. This here actually kind of breaks it. Mostly when you do an iron farm in your spawn chunks, it's supposed to run all the time. But because I included this redstone, it doesn't run all the time anymore. And I couldn't get it to run all the time without the redstone anyways. So I just stuck with this design, which pushes the zombie up and down using a sticky piston. And it works pretty well. Here's another view from up top. Basically, the villagers are here and the zombies in the middle. The guy will spawn, the golem will spawn on the platform, get pushed down into the water, and meet his demise. And some other farms I have in this area are also my squid farm. So if we just fly over here and go down this hole right here, we'll just walk down and meet the storage. And it's nothing special down here. It's just, oh, there's a creeper. When did this become spawnable? Oh, okay. Alright. Did dealt with that. So basically, yeah, this is just the collection area. And we've got all our chests down here. And the actual farm is up top. So the basic concept of this squid farm is the squids will spawn in the water column and then swim into the air block and fall down to the bottom. And they won't die from fall damage, but they will eventually suffocate from not being in water. Then the collection system from down below, the minecart just goes back and forth, collecting all the drops until it brings it to a series of hoppers, which drops it off in those chests where we collect everything. And yeah, that's basically, we just drained out all of the rivers in this area, which wasn't a lot. All I had to do is drain out this kind of little area here. And all of the squids from the whole mob cap for squids will now spawn in this river and fall down to the bottom. We probably just actually got a whole bunch more. Let's have a look. We got a few more. They're still falling. So yeah, I'm still pretty happy with this farm. I've never really had to go searching for black dye, so that's always very useful. Now let's get out of here and move on. The next thing we can look at is just over here, where we will find my witch farm. I used this witch farm as my early source of gunpowder, and I have to say it's very slow when it comes to collecting gunpowder. And the reason for that is just because witches drop so much stuff, and they're not going to drop gunpowder every time. And basically how it works is we have our Zoglin friends over here, and they are aggroed to every single mob in the game. So when a witch spawns, this guy will see them and be like, I want to attack them, and go and actually here, let me go spawn some witches. Alright, any witches? Okay, yeah, there's witches. So as you can see, the Zoglins will aggro onto a witch, and once it goes up the water column, it will go and attack another one. So let's see, is it going to happen here? Come on, don't prove me wrong now. Alright, so yeah, I'll go attack this guy, and the ice platforms make it so the one attack makes them slide off, and then they get pushed through water columns all the way up to the top. And then when they get to the top, they come over and land on this wither rose where they take damage, and all the drops then get collected and put through this sorting system where we collect a whole bunch of goodies, which are actually all very useful for early game. So we definitely didn't only use this for gunpowder, we used it for redstone and glowstone as well, and sticks. But most of the other stuff didn't get used until kind of just starting to use the glass bottles now for the honey farm, and definitely don't use any of the healing bottles. I kind of just always throw them on the ground. But yeah, anyways, it's a good farm. I really like it. And the Zoglins that we have down at the bottom here are just so much more fun of a way to knock them off. So I had to go with the fun way rather than the efficient way, because that's kind of how I like to do things in this world. Also, I want to say that the witches will try to attack back with a potion of harming, but because this is zombified, potions of harming actually just heal the Zoglins, so there's no way that they can take any damage or anything, so I don't have to worry about ever replacing them, which is really nice. Okay, now let's go back and look at the rest of spawn. If we fly just over our spawn area and to the right, we'll see our flower farming area where I have 4 flower farms set up in this flower biome. And if we come underneath here, you can see everything gets collected, pushed down into these water streams, and then eventually collected into these auto sorters, which sort everything that we have out of all these flower options. I think we've got pretty much every flower that you can get in a flower biome down here, so we're pretty much covered. And then if we come around this corner, I also have the 2 tall flower farms. So if I flip this lever, that dispenser will start bone mealing this, and it collects everything down and puts them down into these chests down below. So I got that for all of the 2 tall flower options, and yeah, we're pretty much covered when it comes to dyes in this area now. And then if we go past these flower farms a little bit over into this swamp, we have the last flower farm in my collection, which is just to collect up the swamp flowers, which are these blue ones right here. I don't know if this actually, yeah, this doesn't actually have any bone meal in it. I'll just turn it off. But yeah, this one is used to collect up all of these flowers. And yeah, I think this is pretty much everything for the spawn area, other than just the few manual farms that I have lying around. So yeah, I think we can head off to the next area that we built in, which is the Kyoshi outpost. And here we are in Kyoshi Outpost. Kyoshi Outpost is what I used to really get going in this world. It was where my first spawner was. It's where the villager setup is down below here. And it's really where, you know, I kind of beat the dragon here. There's a lot of fond memories of this place, but it took quite a transformation. I put up the wall around the village. I transformed a few of the houses, got rid of a bunch of them, and set up the main house there. If I come over here, you can see the zombie spawner, which should probably be running. It's actually really hard to see through the tinted glass with the shaders on, but there's a zombie spawner in there. I promise you can see it. You can see. I hope you can see it. But here, let me see if it's actually running. We'll run up inside. Basically, this is a tower designed to hide the drop for the zombies. Oh, we can hear them. They're gonna be on their way. Oh, there they are. Alright, they'll eventually get pushed into the... Oh, they're already here just waiting for us. I see. Alright, anyways, that was the early experience farm that we used in this world. A lot of this area has changed because I took down my temporary storage system, which I remember actually being against this wall. Just chests scattered all over the place, but the main thing to look at in this area is the villager trading hall. We have a logical geek boy villager breeder in here, which has been used to feed this entire villager trading hall. But we start off with the farmer villagers, which I actually don't trade with too much, and our zombification chamber. So from the villager breeder, it sends them behind those plants there along, and it drops them down in front of this zombie, where we can then send them off with much better trades than we had before. It looks like the last person I put in was this guy. Yeah, haven't even traded with him yet, but he's got better trades. And if we go down here, this is where I do the bulk of my trading, because I like to trade away iron, which is why I made those 3 iron farms. So all I would do is grab a stack of blocks of iron and just go through all of the iron guys. We've got all of these guys trading for iron, all of these guys, minus this guy. This is just the first armor guy that I got, and he didn't trade iron. And we've got all of these guys are iron guys, all of these guys on both sides. Easy emeralds, really quick. All you need is a few iron farms and a little bit of patience with villagers. And let me tell you, you need patience with villagers. And when we come to the back of the villager trading hall, we have just a few utility spots. I tried really hard to get an arrow of weakness, but I haven't succeeded yet. And over here we have a bunch of masons that I use to trade with for quartz. And actually, now that I think about it, if you come onto my Twitch streams, one of the redemptions you can make is to name a villager. So we've got a whole bunch of villagers through here. So I'm going to do a quick little slideshow just showing you all of their names, and then I'll continue showing you the rest of the villager trading hall. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, we can continue on the tour down the stairs here to where we have our librarians. So now, with these librarians, we're able to get pretty much one of every book in the game. So that's pretty great. Not all of them are max level, but pretty much all of them we can get at the max level. So if we ever need a book, we can come here, but I have a better spot in my world to go and get books, which I'm going to show you a little bit later. I think the villager trading hall turned out excellent. I really liked how the design turned out. Everything's spawn proof, so we can't have any zombies down here to zombify them unless I want them to. And a lot of them actually have really cheap trades. Wow, that's tricky to say. Say that 5 times fast. And while we're down with the villagers, I'll just let you guys see all of the enchantments, seeing as I know there's going to be some people asking. Just go through them slowly. We got Feather Falling 4, Depth Strider 3. We got some good ones all around. Some of the villagers may not be as useful because we got their stuff in other places. Efficiency 5, Silk Touch. This is a good villager. Smite 5, another really useful villager. We got Punch. We got some Quick Charge. Yeah, down at the end here is when it's starting to get to the weird ones, which you normally wouldn't get. Like, I think I got this guy for his Flame. Got this guy for Loyalty. And yeah, we basically are able to cover almost everything. Actually, what are these guys? Why don't I have them labeled? Are they even useful? Oh, they're not that great. I think I got these guys for glass, actually, because I got everything before I filled everything up. And we've got Piercing 4, Impaling 5, Mending, Infinity, Smite 5, Sharpness 5. This guy's a really good villager, actually. A little expensive, but maybe I should zombify him again. The Arthropods. So yeah, you guys get the point. We have pretty much any enchantment we want at the palm of our hands. And then my favorite part of this villager trading hall is my Emerald Vault. Now, this is some redstone by Crafty Masterman on YouTube. You can check out his tutorial for how to do this in your own world, but I had to get it in my world once I saw it. Basically, it's a crazy redstone mechanism which stores a combination lock. So now, with this being an Avatar The Last Airbender world, naturally our combination is going to be Appa. So this is A, this is P, hit P again, and if we hit A again, that will open this door. If we try any other combination, it won't open the door. And in here we have a lot of goodies stored. We've got lapis, we've got gold, we've got a little bit extra stored here and there. And we've got, most importantly, emeralds, because we need a lot of emeralds to make sure we can buy all the glass and all the quartz that we need from this villager trading hall. And then back inside here we have a close door button to make sure we can close up the door behind us. And to make sure we can't get stuck in here, we also need to make sure we have an emergency open button. And also our close button here. And just in case anyone's curious, I'll just show this is A, B, C, N, O, P, and X, Y, Z. I just figured start of the alphabet, middle of the alphabet, end of the alphabet was a good way to hide Appa in there. So yeah, I think that's a pretty cool thing that I did in my world really early. So I'm pretty happy with this. Check out the tutorial on Crafty Masterman's YouTube if you want to build this in your world. And actually I think Mumbo also built this on season 7 of Hermitcraft. Yeah. I think that's pretty much everything to show of the villager trading hall. So there's a little bit left to show up on the surface. So now up on the surface, there's just a few things here and there. We've got a chicken farm hidden away here. I don't know even if it's running still. Sounds like there's some chickens. Yep, we're getting a few eggs. And what else is going on here? We also have, oh yes, the map room. This is the map room that I used for my next build, which is Kyoshi Island, even though it's not an island. Oh yeah, also I have a cocoa bean farm hidden in here. Forgot about this. I don't actually explore this part of my world very often. But if we come into the map room, I did a little bit of decoration. This was really my first storage room of the world, but we'll look at the maps after. We'll just head straight upstairs to start. And, oh, hello there. Yeah, we're using the invisible item frames to signify what's in every chest. And at the start of the world, this was me trying to beat the dragon and just get going and get the first place built. So this is kind of all I needed as a storage room. Valuables, iron, redstone tools, heads. This is kind of some bulk storage stuff, some extra stuff, tools, utilities. I don't remember what that was. I think I needed it. I think it was like a nautilus shell or something. Then yeah, all the colorful stuff and yeah, all that type of stuff. That's good. Now if we head down into the map room, you can see all the maps from this area. This is first of all the area that we're in right now. Not too much changes here. You can see this map here is what it looks like when we first got here, and this is what it looks like now. You can see the new building, you can see the other tower, you can see the wall, and then the rest of the maps in the room are the maps for the next build, but I'm not going to get too detailed into those till I show you that. We also have this table here. This table was really the first representation of me trying to use the armor stand mod to make something look a little bit extra, and I think it turned out pretty good. It kind of tells the story of them plotting against this Fire Nation fleet that they found. They've got their weapons, they've got their tools, they've got a clock, they got someone taking notes and stuff like that. I think it's pretty cool. And yeah, this is basically the last main thing that I need to show around here. So I guess we can head over to the Kyoshi Island build next. And to get to Kyoshi Island from here, it's just a quick rocket flight over this forest here, and we'll come up to the mountain range of Kyoshi Island. And here, let me let it render in. So here we are in the village of Kyoshi, and I spent a lot of time building this. We started off building up, I think it's 10 mountains. I've never actually counted. So yeah, 10 mountains to build up this mountain range. And then we built up this landscape here. This is all fake landscape, and put all of these houses here. And it looks fantastic, but honestly, the decoration of this build, I rarely get to see it. I never come here. What I've been doing lately is everything I build, I try to make a reason to go back there on a Twitch stream, like if someone was to redeem to name a villager or to name something else in the world. But I don't really have that for this world. The only reason I come here is to use the super smelter. but I do have to appreciate a good decorative build. But yeah, this is the super smelter input chest. It just all comes back up out here. And yeah, every single one of the houses is actually decorated as well. And this is a lot of armor stand work. So I have the Kyoshi warriors and their Kyoshi hangout. If we come back to this house, I think this is the brewery. Yeah, it's the brewery. So these guys are sitting at the table and you can get your stuff from the tap here. What do we have here? Oh, this is the... I'll show that one last. This is the librarian's house, which actually I think is really cool, actually. I really like how this turned out. And you'll notice this happens a lot in this world because this is my favorite little tree to build. But I also went to the extents of writing up a little bit about Avatar Kyoshi for when I do eventually do a world download, which isn't going to be with this world tour, but maybe it will be with the next one. But yeah, I want to add as much lore to this world as possible from the Avatar The Last Airbender world. And continuing out here, we have a simple blacksmith house with all the furnaces. Actually, probably would be a bad idea to live in this house because there's a lot of smoke in here. Might be unhealthy for you. And then this is what, my loom room. So this is where I come when I need to do anything with looms. Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of dyes here for that. And last but not least, we have the blacksmith's house. Yeah, the blacksmith's house. We've got all the tools hanging on the wall and all that nice kind of stuff. And this is just a way for me to incorporate all these building things into the build in simple ways. But now here, let's show some of the other features of this. We have our Avatar Kyoshi statue, which is heavily armor standed. I think there is in the face probably like the face and headpiece probably like 25 to 30 armor stands. And then this fan over here is probably another 20 armor stands. So I did a lot to make this look as good as it does, but I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. And then we've got a few more armor stands hanging out. We've got a few kids hanging out by the armor stands scene, and Suki's keeping an eye on her, so you know Sokka and Suki can come hang out every once in a while. And yeah, okay, at the back we also have the dojo. Dojo is just where the Avatar warriors go to train. You saw it in the episode of the show, and I had to include it here, but I made it my own. This is a little rack where they store their little staffs that they train with, and these are some test dummies that they can punch whenever they need to do some training. And you know, I just wanted to do some nice decoration, and I was going to do something up here, but this is one of those unfinished projects. You'll notice that every project I have is really kind of 95% done, and I'm okay with that. It gives me something to do and come back to on stream. There's still other plans that I have for this area. And when we come past the dojo, we've got this nice bridge scene which leads up to a waterfall and extends back into the further mountain range. And actually, I decorated this to be a hot spring, which I think is really cool. We've got some heat coming up, some bubbles, some steam coming off of the water. It looks really nice, and it's a nice little feature to have, which floods down into the river, which was, I kind of needed a purpose for this river. It's another thing I learned about building, is try to build with purpose. And it worked out. And here's actually the only armor stand of anyone from Avatar The Last Airbender in the world. We have Aang with the Kyoshi girls, because if you remember that episode, they had quite the little crush on him. And if we fly out to the front of the Kyoshi Island, we'll come up to the Fire Nation ship, which laid siege to the Fire Nation. And what we have here is a bunch of pacified pillagers with some Fire Nation heads on, and they can just wander around this ship however they please, and they won't attack me anymore, and it's really nice. So it's a really nice feature to have, although they can be kind of loud. So let me just quickly... Alright, so if we head up, you can see the top areas of this. This is kind of just storage type stuff, and then I think that's... Ooh, wait. Yeah, I think I want to make this a map of the area. Ooh, I should do that. I don't actually explore my builds that much anymore, so this is actually a really nice exercise. Up here we come to the balcony, which, you know, they can look out on, but we're just going to head back down and look at the bottom side of the ship now. If you come back here, we've got some more armor stand work, putting some fish all over the place, because I imagine they would eat a lot of fish being out at sea. And if we go down, you can see the bunkers for the Fire Nation. They've got a lot of art, because I imagine them being rich. And this is the bunk of where all the all the soldiers sleep. And what is this? What was this room? This was access up to the deck. And the front is where they store all their treasure. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, they don't actually have any, and nothing's in the barrels. I just made it look like it with all the micro blocks. But I'm really happy with how this build turned out. It looks really fantastic, and it's a really, really great accent that adds on to the Kyoshi Island area. I mean, when you look at it like this, it just looks like such a great little addition coming into Bay to terrorize them. And actually, if you look back through my episodes, there was a time when I had this whole place on fire, and that wasn't me with a flint and steel. That was them. Absolutely. And yeah, so now at this point, we can start showing inside the mountains, and I guess I could show that last house that we were talking about. So if we come to the last house that I didn't show a little bit earlier, it is the Kyoshi change room, but when you go back into one of the change room stalls, if you press the button, it drops you down into the mountain, where we have a bunch of farms for this starter area. So back here we have the Tango Tech design for a sugarcane farm. Works extremely well. I'm pretty sure my sugarcane's pretty much filled up there. And we have a simple cactus farm, which both run through the series of water tubes all the way up to the storage in the storage room, which I still have yet to show you. If we come here, this is just some demonstration stuff from some YouTube episodes. And back here we have my manual bee farm, which is actually where I come to just farm up more bees. I usually don't come here looking for honey. This is just, yeah, where I like to breed them up. Over here we have the smelter array. So we have a whole bunch of smelters with bamboo being fed into them, and from the top, this is where the items come down and then get loaded into this chest. And then when everything gets said and done, it comes back up and goes up to the top barrel, up in that room that I showed you earlier with the super smelter. Yeah, it's not a huge furnace array. I'm still going to make another one eventually in another base, maybe the next base. I'm not sure. I still have yet to decide what I'm doing next. But if we come up through this entrance, it also comes out to the bamboo farm that we have. And this bamboo farm just feeds all into that super smelter. And, oh, there's something ticking right now. But it works really well. If you load it up with bone meal, you will just... If you load it up with bone meal, it'll just completely fill the super smelter. It does a good job. But I have it empty right now because I think the super smelter is full. I haven't used it in a while. If we come back out here, you can see a manual cocoa bean farm, and over here in the ground is a pumpkin and melon farm. It's kind of hard to see. Here's the pumpkin and melons. Let me down there. Yeah, there they are. And then down here is just how everything's collected. Yep, nice and simple. Basic pumpkin and melon farms, early game stuff. And from here, yeah, everything just goes through all the water tunnels, up through here, and eventually out my face, and eventually leads into the items in this storage room. I'm going to show you the entrance to the storage room before I take you inside of it. But yeah, over here we have my manual turtle farm. There's just farms spread out all throughout these mountains. All right, let's just eat our food here so we can actually get around. So up here we have a nylium farm. So this is used for farming up this block and this block. And basically how it works is there any... Oh, there's no bone meal in there. Alright, there's no bone meal in there, but basically it bone meals it, pushes them all across, collects it here, and then there's just an easy area for me to swipe across and collect up all the blocks. Moving on. We come around here, and this heads out to the wool farm that we use for all the wool in our world. And it's just one sheep of each color, but for a single player world, that seems to be enough. I run out of red wool a lot. I run out of green wool a lot. I think we're doing pretty good on green right now. Yeah, but usually the rest of the colors are pretty full. And the next farm that we have is a stone farm. And this was actually the only occasion in this world where I messed around with any TNT duping. And I didn't enjoy it at all. I ended up blowing up the TNT duper, and this thing's been broken ever since. And I've decided to swear off TNT duping for the rest of this world. But taking a quick look at how it did work, basically this was a stone generator which pushed it to the center, and this TNT duper just dropped TNT at the perfect time to explode these before they connected. But it's an easy fix actually for me to turn it into a non-TNT duper, so I think I might actually do that soon, but for now I'm just going to leave it because honestly I have enough stone in my world after doing all the digs that I've done. And I think, oh no, there's one other farm that's very important to show for this area before we can show the storage room. And that is the Tango Tech Nether Tree farm, which is hidden right over here. Okay, let me turn it on because I'm pretty sure this has some stock in it and I can show you it running while I explain it. Basically, it's an AFK Nether Tree farm. Ow, oh, I missed. Okay, it's an AFK Nether Tree farm, and this ancient debris pushes out an air hole for the TNT to fall down. It's just pushed it out. The TNT can fall down, explode at the bottom instead of getting stuck at the top and blowing up all the redstone. And then we just collect this lower half worth of stuff. Everything up here doesn't get exploded, but that's fine. It's kind of slow, but it's completely AFK. I could stand here for hours and then come back with like just completely chests full of warped wood. Actually, I've never actually changed this for Crimson. I should try changing it out for Crimson soon. But if we come down here, I'm actually going to turn off the farm because it's loud. We've gotten a few warp stem in the time that we've been here. About a stack, so that's no time for the amount of time that that's a ton for the amount of time we've been here, if you ask me. And now back over at the main farm area, we have our water tunnel to get us back up into the room that took us down here. And I'll just sleep the night away. Alright, now to get to the storage room, you have to come behind the dojo and hit the correct button, which is this one. And it will earthbend open this door, and then it will close in a few seconds behind us. And we are now in the storage room of Kyoshi Island. It's just another typical storage room where you store everything manually, but there's a few extra things, like underneath each row I have barrels where I can store bulk of everything. I guess I just put a bunch of extra stone in there. That one has some granite and andesite and stuff, and yeah. So it's just your basic storage room up at the front. Everything's labeled with invisible item frames. I definitely don't have everything possible in here. And then at the back, all of this is the automatically sorted stuff. So if we come, open the access chamber, say hello to our maintenance man, you can see all of the autumn storage right here. And the water tubes bringing everything up and running it along all of this stuff. And if any of the stuff actually gets full, it comes along all the way to the end and ends up in this composter where it gets sent back and added and put into a bone meal slot. So if anything's full, we're also using this as a bone meal farm. So yeah, right over here, sugarcane, cactus, pumpkins, melons, and yeah, something's full because we're collecting some sort of bone meal. The design for this storage room was, I kind of was inspired by the acacia log, and I wanted to see if I could use its gray color and go with a gray palette and use some of the blackstone because it was pretty early in 1.16 and I was pretty excited to have some blackstone. And here we have another quick little redstone thing, which is a nice thing to have in any base, which is just a rocket refueler. It is just a dispenser which pushes a clock behind it to give me about 12 or so rockets, I think. And then last but not least, we have my little jam room in here. Opens up a door, and all of the music discs that I own are here. I still have to get Pig Step, but yeah, we could play any disc we want. Alright, that's enough. At the back of the storage room here, we have my nether portal, and if you go behind it, I have what is called a micro gold farm. Because zombified piglins like to spawn in these nether portals, so whenever they spawn, they'll appear here and see these turtle eggs, and they'll just walk over, fall down, and die on the wither roses, and I collect their direction. You know what, actually I haven't checked the chest for this in a long time. Let's check it in this video. Oh hey, look, that's not bad. You know, you get a small trickle of gold out of it. Definitely not as much as any of the other gold farms I have, but Gold is gold, am I right? And now I think there's only one thing in Kyoshi Island that's left to show, and that is Appa. If we fly up into the sky, you can see Appa retreating the city, and this is from when the Fire Nation from down there had set the city behind us ablaze. If we come to the front of Appa, you can see his face. I'm using invisible item frames to hold on some blocks and put them diagonally. We're actually using a bed as his tongue, and he just has a little stare nose, and I think he looks really derpy, but you gotta appreciate your derpy builds in Minecraft every once in a while. And now I think that is pretty much everything there is to show. It's nice to have an aerial view of this thing every once in a while with shaders on. It looks so good. I'm really proud of how this turned out, but I think it's time for us to move on to our next project. And the next project was the Nether hub. So let's go through the Nether portal and see what is behind there. So here we are in my Spirit World Nether hub. The Spirit World of Avatar: The Last Airbender is what I designed this after, and actually took a lot of inspiration from The Legend of Korra for this area, because you actually get to see a lot more of the Spirit World in Legend of Korra, so I kind of used that as my research while building this. And that's where I came up with the idea for all of the giant lily pads, and that's kind of where the theme came from for this. I wanted a really spacey kind of feel where there's just cool stuff all around. And right here in the center, we have a statue to Uncle Iroh. Oh yeah, I forgot to put a parrot here. That's my only pet parrot, Iroh, the Dragon of the West. So this is just me playing around with some armor stand stuff. I gave him his teapot, and he stands here proudly because he is a part of the Spirit World in Legend of Korra, and that's, well, like I said, what this area is based on. Back in this corner, we have a little bit of a lava lake with striders, just because I kind of wanted striders in the area because they feel like they look like they belong in the Spirit World. But what's hidden behind here is actually pretty cool. In the Spirit World, there's one spirit called Ko the Face Stealer. So this is my representation of him coming out of the wall here to try to scare someone and steal their face with all of his tentacles. And then if we come into the back room here, it's actually where I store all of my mob heads for the world and all of my custom heads here. And yeah, this is all of the stuff that you can get from the Wandering Trader. This is all of the mob heads and yeah, my custom heads. And I love this room. This room is like, I really like how this turned out. Using the beehives as a floor is one of my favorite things to do now. Continuing on with the tour of the Spirit World, every single portal is color-coded. So these two are both yellow. This one's yellow concrete. This one's yellow terracotta because they're both the same base. This would be the Sun Warrior Temple. And then off in this direction, this just leads to a tunnel that actually doesn't go anywhere yet. It leads to a snow biome, but once we upgrade to 1.18, that's probably not going to be a snow biome anymore. So I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do with this tunnel. And then over here, we also have, this is, what's the spirit's name? This is my little corner dedicated to the spirit High Bay. High Bay is the panda spirit, the black and white spirit. So I collected a bunch of pandas and made a nice little panda enclosure for them. But they're kind of dumb and they all get stuck in the corner. I have to come and push them out all the time. And these guys are just trapped in the bamboo. I think I made a pretty nice panda enclosure for them. It's pretty cozy. Hopefully it reminds them of the jungle. They seem to just like hanging out in the corners though, but that's what they like. Moving on with the tour, we come up to our green area, and this is Kyoshi Island where we were before. So this is where I came out. This is the entrance to the stone farm, and then this is the portal that takes us into the storage room. If we continue over here, we come to the orange portal, and this is our villager trading hall back at Kyoshi Outpost. And then if we fly across this way, we come up to my white portal, which is the spawn base where we started the video, and then the purple portal is the witch farm. So we've seen all of these areas already. I think we've covered pretty much every area inside the main Nether hub. Now we can probably talk about this area now. So above us we have my big, it's not the biggest bedrock hole I've seen, but it's big enough that it's pretty easy to make your way through. You don't have to worry about going through a one block hole. You can easily just fly up above the nether roof where we have a few farms. Starting off over here, we have a simple hoglin farm, which is just... The hoglin farm is just some platforms with some mushrooms and some soul torches to scare all the piglins into the lava. And yeah, it just collects up leather and a lot of cooked pork chops. Have I collected all the leather out of here? I've grabbed most of it. And then over here we have the first gold farm that I made in this world. This is the one I mostly use for experience. It gets pretty loud over here. But yeah, I think this is the Nembon design, and it works really well. You get experience really fast. I actually already came up here to heal up my elytra, but yeah, it heals up whatever you need to heal up so fast. Did I just heal everything up with just those few swipes? They weren't even damaged, so don't count that, but it's not that fast, but it is fast, and mostly use this thing for experience because I didn't bother making an actual good storage system here. It does all right. It split it into 3 sections and it brings all of the drops down. This one kind of doesn't get used anymore, and it works, but there's much better storage systems for nether-based storage. I just didn't want to have to deal with ice or slime block launchers yet in this world because this was a pretty early game farm. And then if we head off behind this gold farm, through the nether fog, we will see my second gold farm. And this is just a drop-based gold farm. I stand up here at the top, let all the zombified piglins spawn in, and then let's see if we can catch them on their way down. They all just fall down on these big pads of hoppers, and there's just chests underneath that filter all of the golden nuggets inside. It looks like I've spent some time here recently and haven't emptied it out. All of the rotten flesh gets dropped into these hoppers because I sometimes want rotten flesh, so this is just a spot where I can get some of it from, but for the most part this just collects all the gold and spits the rest of it out to be despawned. And that's everything I've done on the nether roof. So basically I don't really like using the nether roof for nether travel. I really like the style of a decorated nether hub with nether tunnels. So I prefer to do it just underneath the bedrock, which gives such a great look once you clear out all the bedrock and fill it in with glass. Yeah, it's probably my favorite block to mix in with a build because you actually can't place it. You just have to incorporate it how it is. And it looks really cool. Flying against it looks really cool. And yeah. And now down at the bottom of our bedrock hole, we have the piglin bartering farm, which it's just 6 piglins. And once I'm done up in the gold farms, I come here. I can either drop all the gold in here, but it's actually way more efficient to actually manually put the gold in everywhere it needs to go just by coming up here. And we just turn it on and they just trade away and everything filters down into the storage room down here. And this is the storage room. We've got a whole bunch of stuff. We've got blackstone, obsidian, crying obsidian, soul sand, gravel, string, quartz, leather, nether bricks, the golden arrows, whatever they're called. What's that called? Fire charge, and ender pearls. And then a few other assorted things get mixed into here. I usually just throw everything out that isn't a fire potion of resistance or a soul sand, or sorry, a soul speed 3 book, and I just keep the good stuff. And everything else just gets pushed into this lava at the back here. And when it comes to the design of this storage room, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm really loving the nether wood blocks. This was really my first time experimenting with using a lot of them, other than, you know, the whole floor of the nether hub. That's another thing. But yeah, this was mostly experimenting with the crimson logs and transitioning it into all the cyan blocks. I do have to say I really, really like the cyan block palette in Minecraft. I think cyan might be one of my favorite blocks when it comes. It goes so great with the spacey theme of the nether hub that I'm really happy with it. And how we turn on this farm is just by flicking this lever. Let's see if there's any gold in there. Oh yeah, we've got gold in there. Everyone's trading right now. So eventually they'll drop it out, and then a few seconds after that they'll receive a new piece of gold. I don't have it optimized, perfectly timed or anything like that, but it works good enough for me. And now when it comes to the nether hub, we have a few other things to look at. This is my drop down into the real nether, and this is the room where my first actual nether portal spawned. I think, did I leave some obsidian here? Yes, I did. This is the obsidian from my first nether portal. spawned right here, and we just traveled out in this direction, and we found a nether fortress almost immediately. Came over here, just through this tunnel right here, and bam, right into another fortress where we've done most of our nether fortress type stuff. I do have one other nether fortress which I turned into a wither skeleton farm, but we'll get to that later in the tour. And then this tunnel just heads off into another direction to fly off into the nether. Nothing too interesting here, so let's head back up into the actual nether hub. Whoop. There we go. All right, now what we need to look at next is the nether tunnels. So the nether tunnels was a fun project. There's actually still a little bit more I want to add to them. I want to add probably black glass panes on top of these stairs, because you can't actually boat across this ice boat path, and that kind of defeats the purpose. But right now I just use firework rockets, and there's a whole bunch of nether tunnels that we have here. This one heads in the direction of my let me think. My mining sand desert. It has my guardian farm. It has my copper farm, and it has my mushroom island. This tunnel goes to my pillager outpost. It goes to two more builds that we're going to show, the Misty Palms Oasis and Wong Shi Tong's library. And then the last tunnel that actually goes anywhere is way down here, which goes to my jungle. Yeah, where is it? Actually, this one, now that I think about it, I'm probably going to end up wiping out my jungle when I upgrade to 1.18, so we'll see where this tunnel leads to in the future. I'm not sure. 1.18 is going to be the update of tunnels for me. We're going to spend a lot of time out in the tunnels. And all of the tunnels are very much still incomplete. You will see that once we pass through this nether portal here. It's just a regular nether, and I'm going to be finishing these off in live streams coming up soon, but I like to leave some stuff unfinished too for live streams. Gives me something to do. And now we're going to go off and look at our next area, which is going to be the Misty Palms Oasis. And when we come into the Misty Palms Oasis, we come out of our tent with Appa out to the front of the Misty Palms Oasis. So the nether portal is hidden in this tent here, which we set up when we had to flee Kyoshi Island because the Fire Nation had set it ablaze. And here is the Misty Palms Oasis. Now this was a small project for me to do in between some of the bigger projects that I'd been doing, and I had a ton of fun with it. Basically here, let's have a look from the sky. I've got this platform over here that we can have a look from, and basically I just wanted to make a small build, which is just build up a perimeter, build up a bunch of houses, and make it look nice. And this probably took me all of 2 weeks to do this whole thing, and I couldn't be happier with it. The iceberg in the middle, all the buildings surrounding it, I feel like it represents what my reference art that I had for it a lot from the show, and I'm really happy with it. I also use this area as my micro farm area. So to show off a few farms we have in the area, I just have a micro sugarcane farm in this house here. And over here we have another micro crop farm. This one does wheat, potatoes, and beetroots and all those types of stuff. You just turn this on and you put your stuff in there, and it grows up real fast by bone mealing it 4 times at once. Then a lot of these houses actually do have interiors in this build. This is one of the few builds that is like 99% complete. There's only one interior in this build that's incomplete, and I think it's one of those 2 houses over there. And over in this corner I have a few other micro farms. In that house I have a micro chicken cooker, and in this house I have an auto cactus farm, and I just have a few interiors around here. And the main reason I come to the Misty Palms Oasis is this house over in the corner. And this house represents the White Lotus Flower Shop. And in the back room is where you can become a member of the White Lotus. Members of the White Lotus are the subscribers on my Twitch channel. If we enter the flower shop, you'll notice that the back door is closed, but if we leave our White Lotus flower token here, we will be able to come to the back and we will be able to gain access to the subscriber hall. The subscriber hall is a place to thank all my Twitch subscribers for helping support the channel. I'm going to quickly flip through everyone in the subscriber hall, then I'll come back to talk to you about this place a little bit more. Once again, want to say I really appreciate the subscribers, and if you're out there, I'm sorry if your skin's not completely updated. I still have to come through here and update everyone in their armor skins, but also if we come down here, this is the Hall of Gifted Subs. So if you get gifted a sub to a channel, you get a pickaxe down in the Hall of Gifted Subs, and if you get gifted a sub a second time, that's when you get added up into the subscriber hall. So you can still get into the subscriber hall without subscribing, but you have to hang around long enough, I guess. And also at the back of the subscriber hall room, this also acts as my storage room. So if we come around the corner here, you can see just another basic manual storage room with everything a little bit organized. I don't use the storage room too often. The most important stuff I keep here is stuff to do with the subscriber hall. But I do have a little bit of everything here anyways. So I've got diamonds, golden apples, and that type of stuff here. Also up in these shulker boxes, I have extras of all the heads that I collected from putting people in here, so that in the future when I want to do some random armor stands, I have some good heads to add around the world. So if you want to be a part of the subscriber hall, head over to twitch.tv/Sokkacraft and give me a follow and just hang out, and eventually maybe you'll be able to be a part of this too. And I also need to say I really appreciate all the YouTube watchers as well. You guys are awesome, and thanks for getting me to the 1,000 subscribers. All right, now moving on with this tour, there isn't too much more to see. There's some cool stuff over in this house with some potion brewing redstone. So if we come down below the floor here, we have a bunch of potion brewing type stuff, and this is an auto brewer, which is now not running. But basically it runs potions endlessly until I guess until it runs out of ingredients, and it sends them all up to the bar in this room here, so Mr. Milk can serve people some moo pop. Yeah, I took the idea from moo pop from Hermitcraft. I just, wanted to have a little bit of fun. A viewer suggested it, so we went with it. So now whenever we're in this area, we can grab some speed potions and just speed around and have a good time. But other than a few nice interiors, there's not too much more to show over here. So I'm going to fly over to our next destination, which is just a short flight in this direction to find the Wong Shi Tong's library. Actually, it should be coming into view any second now. Oh, here's some of the beacons for it. I still need to clean up the beacons for this project, but that'll happen another day. In order to gain access to the Wong Shi Tong's library, you have to make your way up to the top, and then you just drop down into the bottom. We'll activate our wings, fly down to safety, and yeah, we're in the Wong Shi Tong's library. And I have two purposes for the Wong Shi Tong's library. One of them is for a redemption for the Twitch channel where you get to name a fox, and this is my fox breeder here. And the other one is for me to store all of my books here. So it's a library, so we have all of our mending books here. Got some extra mending books here. Got some unbreaking books in this hallway. Basically, I've themed out all the books to go into a certain place. So if it's something that would go on a pickaxe, it's most likely in this green earthbending room. If it has anything to do with water, it's most likely in this waterbending room. If it has anything to do with weapons and attacking, it's most likely in the Fire Nation room. And if it has anything to do with air, like respiration, feather falling, or if it has anything to do with a bow, it's in the Air Nation room. I still actually consider Wong Shi Tong's library to be quite incomplete because this is the only of these hallways that have an intersection that actually has something completed in it. The rest of them look like this over here where they just go to nothing, and I sort of have plans for some of those rooms, but that will have to come sometime in the future. But I do really like this build, and coming back here and seeing all the foxes and naming new foxes pretty much every time I come here, because the Twitch chat really likes naming foxes. Maybe not all of them are PG, so I'm going to go and do a quick slideshow showing you all of the appropriate fox names. All right, I think that's all of the foxes. Now, there really isn't too much more to talk about this place other than the last room and the decorations. So we've got the last room that I haven't showed you yet over here, and this is supposed to act as the room which Sokka went to figure out what the darkest day in Fire Nation history would be. And this is our sundial here. We can turn this and move where the sun is in the sky, and we have a bunch of nether stars on invisible item frames plastered all over the place, and it gives a really cool effect. And now we can turn this off. It'll go twice, but yeah, I really like this room. There's not really much of a purpose for this room other than to look nice, but that's what most of this build is, other than storing my books here. So yeah, we're storing books here. There's a purpose for this build. It's just I made a nice pretty room for it too. What else can we talk about? I'm really happy with how each and every single one of the rooms turned out. They all have their own special thing about it. This one has some earth hanging from the ceiling, and across from this we have the Air Nation logo, I think. Yes, we have the Air Nation logo in the air room. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of cool little Avatar The Last Airbender features hidden away in the Wong Shi Tong's library. But I think we're ready to head off to our next, and are we heading off to the final build next? I think we're heading to the Sun Warrior Temple next, which is the final build we're going to be showing today in our world tour. And welcome to the Sun Warrior Temple. This is my most recent build and easily my laggiest build of the world. So full disclaimer, this we might lose a lot of frames during this part of the tour. But this is the Sun Warrior Temple. I started this at the start of 1.17 and it's taken us till now. I took on the huge project of terraforming this whole area, which previously wasn't a desert, into a desert. And I don't even want to look at sand anymore, and this definitely isn't helping because I've placed so much sand, I've mined so much sand, I'm just sick of my deserts at this point. Actually, I definitely need to show you guys the mining desert. Actually, let's take this off. I definitely need to show you guys the mining desert before the end of the tour, just really quickly. These are the custom mountains that I built, finally rendering in. I have to keep a pretty low render distance on when I've got shaders on. But these look so good. I just love taking in the sunset from the top here over the trophy room that we have down here. So now let's get started showing the Sun Warrior Temple village area. Now a lot of these houses are actually empty, but the few that have stuff inside serve a good purpose. For example, this build here, this is kind of like one of their temples. And this is the temple where it holds the map room, which is this upstairs room. And here's the map of the area. You can see how far we've expanded out the desert. I still do want to expand the desert out this way a little bit, but I decided not to because I didn't want to place any more sand. And looking around this area, this whole build, the whole area, every single build is supposed to have an overgrown feel to it because this is the Sun Warrior Temple. It's been abandoned, quote unquote, by the Sun Warrior Temple villagers, but you know, it's not actually abandoned, but it still just looks that way. So I went with the overgrown look for everything. And down here is actually where our end portal is. I deleted all the I used the mushroom trick to delete the end portal frames and made my own custom end portal frame here. And yeah, it looks amazing. We did a little bit of armor stand work to add some extra details. And I continued the overgrown look down here. I think this is one of the first rooms that I really made for this area. And this just connects to the regular stronghold, where we can go and explore. Oh, wait, it's this door where we can go and explore and search for through the rest of the stronghold for other chests, but we don't need to do that anymore. So yeah, this is my end portal room. I really like it. It's kind of the main reason why I wanted to do the Sun Warrior Temple village here. It's because I wanted the Sun Warrior Temple village at my end portal, so I could put this here because the Sun Warrior Temples with the dragons and going in there is where you fight the dragons. So, you know, that's why. And now back up top across the street is the moss farm. If we go into this house and we go down below, there's a moss farm. I do still need to do some upgrades to it, but it works all right. We've just got a regular kind of basic interior here. It's kind of a little messy, but if we go down below through here, we've got the ethos slab moss farm, and up above, actually, which is the lever that switches on? I think it's this one. Yeah, so now the moss farm is running, and we can look at it from here. Basically creates moss, the stone pushes in, and that pops off all the moss, and we collect it down below with hopper minecarts. Yeah, so this is a nice build. I really wanted to, whoops, I should probably turn the farm off. I really wanted to play around with using copper in the Sunwarrior Temple Village area, and I think I did a pretty good job. I wanted it to all remain the original copper color because I think it kind of looks, you know, Sunwarrior Temple color is red. So I think that kind of worked out. Now a lot of these houses are empty, but we could do builds in the future in live streams. And the other house over here that actually has a purpose is my honey farm. If we go in here, this is my favorite interior I think I've done in the whole world actually. This is probably my favorite interior. And one of my favorite things about it is this post. I just like the way it separates the room. Don't ask me why. I think it's a good building technique is to add some posts in to separate the room. But if we come over here, we have access to where the bee farm actually is. And they're just in here in their hives doing their thing, popping out. And all the items come along and go up these 2 item elevators to the chests up above. And the stuff comes up into these barrels here, and over here is where the honey bottles come in. I recently emptied the honey bottles. And exploring around the village, I tried to give it a really cozy feel with, and I wanted to make it feel like there was a lot of raised platforms around. And the one thing that I didn't forget about the Sunwarrior Temple area is that they like to have traps in their area. So I set up a few traps of my own. So this trap here is just this dispenser with some exploding fireworks, and then there's a tripwire right along here. You can see it right there. So whenever someone walks past here, it shoots out. Does enough to damage you, but not enough to do anything fatal. So it's just a bit of fun. I actually think it's killed a few mobs because when I've been working in the area, I heard the fireworks going off when it started to get pretty late. And if we continue ahead, I've got a bunch of palm trees in the area, which really suit the feel of the area. Everything is overgrown, and we come up to the stairs, which lead up into the mountains. And I really like the way that the fire pedestals worked out, and this broken down stairway kind of makes everything feel a little bit more worn and broken, kind of to make it fit with the rest of the area. And if we come up here, we have access to this area, which we can come across and view the Sunwarrior Temple in full. It's such a great view from up here. It's better without shaders when I can have... Actually, no, I really do appreciate the shaders, but the full render distance really does do it justice. Now, when we come over here, I made a little bit of a path to get up to the top of the mountain here. All right, we get up to the top here, and we are met with the dragons of the Sunwarrior Temple. Now, this is the last thing that I built in the area, but it is one of my favorite things. It was an armor stand build. This is the elephant one. I forgot. This one kind of looks like an elephant. I did my best. I really like how it is in the world, but it does look like an elephant, and I think I really like that about it. That's the first dragon, and if we come around over this way, oh, it's up. Is it up here? I think it's up here. Yeah, it's right in here is the other dragon. This one turned out a lot better. Looks a little bit more like a crocodile rather than an elephant. And they both have their own separate caves in these mountains because they're supposed to be the last 2 remaining dragons in the Avatar: The Last Airbender world. And then while we fly over the Sunwarrior Temple area, we come out to the custom cactus field. And I really like all the custom cactuses that we made in the area. They were a really great suggestion. Me and the Twitch chat came up with the design together. One of my really good friends gave me the suggestion for the pink candles on top. And it really creates a really nice atmosphere in this area, and that's what I was going for. And this took so long to build and place all the sand, but it's so worth it in the end. And now we're coming up to the last kind of build, and this is the build that I was planning all along when I was thinking of this area, and this is the trophy room. But before we look in the trophy room, if we come over here, we made a little custom rooted dirt moss cave, which brings us to our rooted dirt farm. Now the rooted dirt farm was used a lot in order to build all the pathways through this area because I really like the rooted dirt block, but it's a pain to collect. And so now here we are in the storage room of the rooted dirt farm. We have a whole bunch of oak from all the trees that got blown up. We have a little bit of rooted dirt left because it still only collects a little bit of that at a time. And we have a little axolotl pond over here to make the lush cave feel look even better. Here you guys can have this glowberry while we come over here and see the actual farm. Now I'm not going to run it right now because I'm not sure if I have any TNT in there, but this is a RaiseWorks design and it's pretty complicated, but basically the whole idea is you click this button and you wait for this trapdoor to open and it will time you perfectly so you don't place the items too quickly. And I would have placed a sapling up at the top there. It would get bone mealed and then a TNT would get dispensed and all the items fall down and then end up in the storage room or in my inventory. And now if we come outside, oh, it looks like it's nighttime. I'll have to sleep the night away. Ooh, it looks so good around here. Oh, one thing I want to quickly talk about while it's nighttime. The block that I use to light up this area is the glow lichen, and I really like how it looks at night from the sky. It looks like, yeah, I can't wait for 1.18 with the lighting update when glow lichen can actually be enough to light up an area. It looks really cool using it to light up this whole area. I mean, mobs can still spawn in it currently, but that's kind of what we deal with. And now quickly, this is my storage room. This is actually what causes all the lag in this area. So I'm pretty surprised that the frames are running pretty smoothly, but while it's nighttime, we could talk about this. This is just, this right here is the mechanism that takes the shulker boxes in and dispenses me back empty shulker boxes for the shulker box unloader. Okay, there's a ton of mobs. Let's just sleep the night away, and then I can continue showing the storage room. Alright, so we're back over here. If we come around and up and look in this door here, you can see the shulker box unloader created by the guy 1604 from Twitch and YouTube. You can check out a bunch of the videos to see a bunch of designs that I use from him specifically in this area. And if we come along to the back here, there is also a shulker box loader. So if there's ever anything that I want, I can just come here, grab up a whole bunch of deep slate, click this lever, and it'll start filtering a bunch of items to the shulker box loader until it gets full. Then it'll break itself and put itself in this barrel. And then this tells me when it's being filled up with items. So I always know when it's actually being filled up. Problem is, don't actually want a shulker box of that right now, so we can turn that off. And I can just put this, I'm just going to wait for it to finish filtering through. Come on. It's good. Okay, there we go. And I can press this button to manually break the shulker, and we got a few deep slate in there. And this is one of our mascots of the build. He somehow picked up a hoglin head, and I had to keep him. And this is my little game that's in my storage room here that I play with my Twitch chat. And basically it rolls me a number between 1 and 20. And then chat has a command which gives them a random number between 1 and 20. And we see who can roll higher. So if I press this button, a little tune plays. And we have a diamond with a number 19. That was a really good roll. That probably would have beat chat that time. I actually rarely beat chat. But anyways, basically all the items from that unloader up there quickly run through and sort into all these chests. Because it's a 4x hopper speed unloader, I did 4 rows of chests to hope that it could keep up with everything. And I think that seemed to help, which created just a very big and laggy storage room, but I'm kind of just dealing with that right now. I don't plan on this being my final storage room anyways. And if we look to the right side of the Sun Warrior Temple Village, we'll see what used to be a very funny view of my creeper farm. But if we come down here, we can still make an access point into the creeper farm right here probably. Yeah, we'll just drop down here. Whoa, it looks crazy in here with shaders. Basically, yeah, this is the creeper farm that is always running and usually has a lot of creepers in it. And right now, basically, this has filled up. I never have to worry about gunpowder again. We'll go back up top, and I'll show you how much gunpowder I have. All right, we're back in the left side of the village, and we have this build right here, which actually houses the second pink sheep that I've found in this world, which is pretty cool. And basically all of the gunpowder gets put into shulker boxes and sent up here. And whenever this gets full, I move it over here, and basically I just have ridiculous amounts of gunpowder. And the other houses in this area are completely empty, but that's okay. I'll figure out something to do with them someday. Also, I think I might have went a little bit overboard when it came to turning this area into a desert, because I kind of just couldn't stop, and I think I went too far. I kind of gave up with placing some of the cactus and dead bushes, because those things are really hard to collect a lot of. Just doing all this desert has taken me probably 20 hours, and don't get me wrong, everything's been worth it, but this project's been such a grind. There's a few other cool things that I can show you. Like we have over here the first lush cave that we made in the area. And if we come down here, we first off see our first axolotl pond that we have of the area, which is right here. And if we come down here, we have the eternal flame of the Sun Warrior Temple villagers. And any leftover gunpowder from the gunpowder farm, as you can see, comes through this water channel here and adds fuel to the fire, so this flame never goes out. I mean, I guess I do have fire tick off in this world, but this works too. Let's see some gunpowder go, please, and prove me right. Oh, there it goes. See, I wasn't lying. And now the last thing to show of the Sun Warrior Temple Village area is my trophy room build. Now, this is a few purposes. One of them is I wanted a good excuse to have a bunch of fun redstone doors. So the first thing I did was have a fun redstone mechanism for pretty much every door. This is how we open this door. We just make this block into path, and then it opens up this sand door in the front, which gives us access to this, once again, overgrown room, which we use to store any tools that my Twitch chat wants to retire from my inventory. So if you save up enough points, you can make it so I could never use this shovel again. And there's only been 2 redemptions of this so far. Mrs. Hot Cheese has redeemed my hoe, and Obligatory Toast has redeemed this axe. And I'm sure there's going to be more to come, so I've kind of expanded out a secondary area to put stuff down below, but in order to get down into the second room, you need to have a bow on you. Because when you press the middle button, nothing happens. It needs to be held down, but 2 buttons actually need to be held down. That button and this button hidden in the corner, shoot them both with your bow, and the secret staircase at the back will open, and you can go down into the trophy room. That is just some storage for an access door for the redstone. And down here is the trophy room. So this is the trophies that we got from our woodland mansion raid with one of our enchanted golden apples. This is the first open air wither fight, and this is the first legit wither fight. This is some sheep from our pink wool and from our Jeb sheep. This is just a Heart of the Sea. I want to change this for some sort of other exhibit. This is our first netherite block. Actually, no, it's not our first netherite block, but it's a netherite block. This is just a dragon head and an elytra to show that I've done that. We've got a few spots reserved for future spots, and we have my first stone shovel and my first stone axe of the world that I never got rid of. And the things that I want to add to this are I want to get pig step, I want to get a creeper head, and I want to see if I can get a skeleton horse to put into my trophy room. And at the back here, if you press this button, you will receive a totem of undying. And it's a pretty cool dispenser, but also if you hold down the button, you will open the secret door, which leads down into where we store our dragon egg. So this was the whole idea. I wanted the dragon egg to be at the bottom of the vault, but since I've built this room, I've also built another room. This room, first of all, super expensive, tons of lodestones, we got a bunch of beacons, and the one and only dragon egg of the world. Looks fantastic, but over here, this is going to be the room where we store any other tools that might eventually get retired, and then I might have some sort of entrance somewhere around here that'll take us to any extra armor, because I expect the upstairs room to get filled up eventually, so I wanted to expand out. So yeah, that's the whole of the trophy room. We hold this button to get out again, and we can continue on our way. And I know the video's getting long, but I only have a few more things left to show you, and I'm going to show you them real quick. It's basically just the farms I have in this world. All that I'm going to show is everything that's down this tunnel. When we make our way down this tunnel, the first thing we come up to is my Guardian farm and my Copper farm. When you exit the Nether portal, you can find the Cub Fan 135 designed Guardian farm, and if we come over to this island here, this is how we access it. We come down this hole to the tunnel that leads to the farm. And when we reach the end of the tunnel, we're met with a room where the Guardians basically just fall and drop onto these hoppers here. But if I want, I can press this button and make it a player kill farm. But you have to be careful because the Guardians can still see you sometimes, so I don't actually use it like this too often, and now I'm just going to let them flop around. But all the drops come down and get sorted through these chests here. I don't have a ton of shards right now because I've been making a lot of dark prismarine, but we have a lot of stuff. This is where any Guardian heads would drop, but as you can see, I actually aren't attacking them very often, so we're not getting very many Guardian heads. And that's pretty much everything of the Guardian farm that we need to show. If we head up this way and we head past the Guardian farm, we're going to come up to another one of the most laggy areas in my world, which is, yeah, we're down to a PowerPoint here. This is my Copper farm. So we are up here, and this is a really elaborate farm. It uses a ton of cats and dogs to push all the creepers and skeletons off the farm. You can see them all in there right there. And it makes it so that the zombies are attracted to a turtle egg, and it brings them all to one spot. And then we have a drown chamber. So it's basically a mob farm that just collects all of the drowns. Oh, really. I'm sorry about that noise. That's the sound of the drowns converting. Oh. Alright, I don't want to get any closer. So basically all of the copper gets filtered and fills into those chests, and the drowned get converted at the back. I'm really sorry, any headphone users. We're gonna skedaddle on out of here real quick. Basically, check out the video if you want to know more about this farm. This is how I collected all the copper for the Sun Warrior Temple area. Now, at the next Nether portal we come across in this tunnel, it'll bring us to our mining desert. And I showed this area in my last YouTube episode, but I did so much more digging in the last episode that it kind of gotten crazy. So this whole area I've collected all the sand from, and now I've also sliced out this whole chunk of this island here as collection for the Sun Warrior Temple Desert. And I also had to resort to going all the way across the desert here and mining up 2 more islands that are just off the distance back here. So the first one is this one, and the second one is this one. So yeah, I've done a lot of sand collection. I think I actually pretty much run this sand desert dry. So in 1.18 we're going to be finding a new sand desert. Let's head back on and head to the next point of interest in this tunnel. And the next point of interest is just down this tunnel. We will eventually come to our Wither Skeleton farm. Make a quick right, and now just go down this tunnel, and this will actually bring us to the Wither Skeleton farm. Alright, now that we've reached the end, we come down to the bottom. Alright, now that we've reached the end, we come down to the bottom. And it is down at the bottom of this staircase. Alright, the bottom of the staircase is here. We just need to fly down a little farther, and we sneak in right over here to the entrance to our Wither Skeleton farm. It is nothing too special. I basically just spawn-proofed a fortress. Didn't do much other spawn-proofing. It's the easiest Wither Skeleton farm you can get, but it works pretty well. We have a good little collection of guys here. It's not like infinite skeletons or anything, but it's enough for me to get all my bones and coal from here. I tried adding dogs, but I haven't got that working yet. And yeah, this is the Wither Skeleton farm. And the reason this is pretty much the easiest Wither Skeleton farm you can make is because it is 100% in a soul sand biome. So that means I only had to spawn proof the fortress. I didn't have to spawn proof any of the soul sand biome because it spawns very little stuff in a soul sand biome. So it forces a lot of the spawns into the fortress, and we get a lot of skeletons. So I actually did not expect to have that many wither skeleton skull, but as you can see, we're doing pretty well. I've cleared this out pretty recently. We're doing pretty well on a lot of the resources. And with that, that basically concludes our world tour for today. And for anyone out there who's watched this far in the video and you're not subscribed, you might as well hit the subscribe button now. You watched over an hour-long video all about my Minecraft world, so you must have enjoyed it. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, press like, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm super excited for when 118 drops. I think it's going to be really, really soon, actually. So I'm going to do a video about how to prepare your world for the update, and I'll see you guys in the next Sokkacraft video. Thank you for watching this world tour, and I'll see you guys next time. Sokkacraft out.